So I was at the pool yesterday. Your son. I saw your son at the pool.
Yeah.
Kid's got some penis on him. It's pretty good.
What are you saying?
Your son. His penis.
Wait, what are you saying that thing for?
Hey,
Remember,
it's a compliment. What's the big deal?
What's the compliment?
Well, how's it bad? How's it bad? He's got a nice big penis. So what?
Well, I'm not talking about your wife's tits. I mean, this is rude.
You can say my wife has nice tits as long as it's complimentary.
You say that, you know, I mentioned his kid's penis. She says,
why would you do that, Larry?
and you say, and this sums up what I think a comedian's mind, you say,
I took a risk.
And that's what comedians do. Sometimes you think, well, mate, you know, it might go down well, it might not, but right. I just say it.
Thank you. Shush. Shut up. You disgusting, pill-popping, sexual deviant scum. Listen, if you do win tonight, remember that no one cares about that award as much as you do, okay? Don't get emotional. It's embarrassing, okay? That award is, no offence, worthless. I've got three Golden Globes myself, so I can say, one's a doorstop, one I used to hit burglars with, and one I keep by the bed to, doesn't matter why, it's mine. It's mine. I won it fair and square. It's just the right shape and size. It's nothing... Yeah, so to be clear, that was a joke about me shoving Golden Globes that I've won up my arse. And they asked me to host 4 times! Jesus. Let's do the show, shall we? It's just, no.
Well, when you go on the Golden Globes, a lot of time you are politically incorrect and hilarious, of course.
Thank you.
And so,
Thank you.
So this is...
Well...
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about offence, isn't it? When people say they're offended, it's that, just because you're offended, it doesn't mean you're right, you know? It's... offence is about feelings, and feelings are personal. Some people are offended by equality. So what? You know, so you can't second-guess people. If you try and please everyone, you'll please no one. With comedy as well, I think you've got to deal with taboos and contentious issues, and sometimes you deal in irony, and some people don't get that, but, you know, you can't legislate against stupidity, otherwise you'll be doing nothing. So if you're saying anything,
Gervais, you know, we've all seen your clip in his new show, Life's Too Short. He's disgraced himself, hasn't he, in America? It would be awful if he did the Golden Globes again.
I think he is going to do the Golden Globes again.
It's going to be a disaster, though,
I think he should. He should make up for last year's.
You should go back and apologise, basically.
No, I think he should just go back and be funny this time.
Yeah, so it's not a problem with him targeting you in any way.
All right, well, needless to say, we're going to tell your joke again. Now, if the people don't know, Sarah Silverman was on Conan O'Brien about, years ago at this point.
Right.
And she told a joke which she meant to be funny. It offended certain members of the Asian community. You asked for equal time. You have it here tonight. We have to set the stage by telling the joke again. Let's hear the joke. Tell it as quickly as you can. Because I'm sick of it by now.
Likewise. It's a joke about getting a jury duty notice, and you got to fill out this form, and you send it in, and you're randomly selected, and I don't want to do jury duty.
No one does.
So I'm filling out the form, and my friend said, why don't you write something really inappropriate, like I hate chinks, you know? And I'm thinking, yeah, but when you think about it, I don't want people to think that of me, you know? I just want to get out of jury duty. So I just filled out the form, and I wrote, I love chinks. Thank you. That's the joke, you know. It's a joke that points...
So where is the joke?
Well, I have to say that's not the biggest laugh I've ever heard a joke get, but it did get a laugh. And considering the setup here, stacked against that joke, that means that joke is still funny.
Really?
Well, if with this setup, that joke still got any kind of a laugh, you got to give something to that joke.
Well, can I point something out for the initiative, for those who don't know? I mean, calling a Chinese person a chink is the same thing as calling a black person nigger.
Absolutely.
This is the way we take it, and we don't think that
racist.
One other point.
Well,
one other point. You know, when you're playing with racial slurs, you're playing with fire. And if you're going to be playing with fire, expect to get burnt.
And you know what? That is so jackass. You know what? This is why.
No, I just feel like, I mean, it gets real heavy and deep here, obviously. I do agree with Sarah where, on one hand, it's, in comedy, I do the same thing. I mean, there's things I do, and you take risks in comedy, and Richard Pryor did, and everyone does, and you kind of offend just to shake people up, and that's the way it is. Some people get hurt, and some people like it, and you move on, but it is comedy. You're not seriously saying these things. If you were on a talk show just saying, I really believe this, and these are, and this is what I think, then I think it's more offensive. The other thing is I get offended if I see black comics talk about Whitey, and I know it's not as rough as chink or the N-word, but I don't like that either, and they can do that night and day. I mean, Chris Rock, who's a great friend, can say,
here's the difference.
The white man makes toast like this, and he's an idiot, but the black guy. I mean,
but you know what? Racism and discrimination is about power. And once if ever,
I agree with you.
The
There's
power
a double
structure
standard for a reason.
Exactly.
Because we are two different races with two hugely different histories.
Exactly.
However, you were talking about, you said the turn of the century. Now, I have an issue about, you called it the N-word. I say that, you know, blacks are like, whites cannot say this word. I disagree. This word has changed in the last 10, 15 years.
According to who?
According to culture, according to the fact that
Ask
it's in
any
every...
African-American person in this
Every
audience.
African-American person in this room uses that word night and day.
No,
it's in
you're
every
wrong.
song. It's all
You're
through
wrong.
culture. Could
You're
I finish
wrong.
my point before you attack
Yes.
it? Okay? The word has changed. It has been co-opted as a term of endearment. There is a bad old word.
From blacks to blacks.
I think I'm the only
Not
one
from blacks to
qualified
blacks.
here to talk about
All right,
this
wait a
issue.
second.
Blacks to blacks. There's
First
a very
of all,
different
I wouldn't
dynamic.
even know you were black if you didn't tell me.
Does it matter
No, it
about
doesn't
color?
matter. No, it doesn't matter.
Attitude?
But
See,
lots
this is
of-
what I love. I love when white people try to define African Americans. What is African American? What is an African American? I'm African American regardless of my skin color or my hair or my clothes or my attitude, and I think I'm the only one on the stage who's qualified to talk about the meaning of the word, how it hurts, how it doesn't hurt, where it's used, the history of it, because I live it every day.
It's in every song. It's in every song on the radio, okay? The nigga, 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 nigga is in every song, okay? People come up to me and go, Bill, you a nigga. But I can't say thank you, or I go, no, please don't use that word, or I can't use that word back. There's a rap group, Niggas with Attitude. My mother said to me, what, NWA. She said, what does that mean? So I have to say, Mom, it means something with attitude. I mean, I'm saying when the word has come this far into the mainstream, for a very good reason, they co-opted the word to make it less powerful in a hurtful way.
That's amongst blacks, not for white people. A few weeks ago, right here in Southern California, in Rancho, in Laguna Hills, California, a Taiwanese American family was having a lot of problems with racial hatred in their community. Okay, and it ended with this 17-year-old boy, Kenneth Chu, being stabbed to death, and they found on the back of his car etched chink. But I bet you would say that his family should take some comfort in knowing that the term didn't really hurt him.
To link that is hurtful to us.
And I have people in my own family that hurts deeply. But I feel strongly about what I talk about, that it isn't racist. It's about racism, you know? You've attacked crazy people. He went up and attacked Susan Sarandon, who we all know is racist despite her thin veneer.
It's easy for you to say, I'm an equal opportunity offender, I can make fun of all these people. What do you ask us how we feel about it? We'll tell you if it's okay or not.
And you know that I love hearing about it.
Wait a second. It is a cheap political trick to somehow link that horrific crime to a joke.
She said the word didn't hurt me. This hurt.
So Jim, just getting off the bat, do you think that comedians should be able to say whatever they want to say without any repercussions?
Well, I mean, if you're trying to be funny, I think. I mean, everybody knows the difference between saying something, like Michael Richards said something in anger, And reasonable people can sense when you're trying to be funny and when you're trying to be angry. So if you're trying to say something funny, yeah, I think like Matt and Trey said from South Park, it's either all okay or none of it's okay.
This is a thing that happens, and it's actually really trivializing to say that mocking and exploiting a rape victim's trauma to her face, because there will be women in that audience and probably men who've been sexually assaulted, is the same as like making fun of a thing. Like, it's not the same. I'm sure it's super comfortable and nice to believe that there aren't systemic forces that are affected by speech, but that's not true. And those of us who are affected by those forces know that that's not true. It's like, you don't get to say that comedy is the sacred, powerful, vital thing that we have to protect because it's speaking truth to power, blah, 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 and then also be like, well, it's just a joke. I mean, language doesn't affect our lives at all, so shut up.
No.
Like,
Sure, but let's be honest. If it's context, then I think the next time somebody walks through a museum and sees a painting that they find highlights or perpetuates a thought that they find objectionable, even a thought they should find objectionable, then they should take a towel and throw it over the painting. Or I think the next time that person goes to a movie and there's a rape in a movie, they should stand up and hold a board in front of the screen so nobody else can see it. Now, if you did that, people, like, look what happened to Giuliani when he tried he went after the Brooklyn Museum of Art. People were like, you fascist, you're going after art for something you don't like. But if you try to get mad at a comedian for telling a joke you don't like, people are like, you go, girl. And it's like, it's either all okay or none of it's okay. I understand why rape is an offensive, awful thing. No one is saying it's not. But sometimes comedy does trivialize what is truly horrible.
Obviously, our opinions on how speech affects the world are very different. I don't know, if you don't believe that the pervasiveness of jokes where the comedian, by the way, isn't making fun of how horrible rape is, they're making fun of someone who got raped, often, like in this, you know, I mean, it's just a crutch, by the way. It's not even edgy at this point. It's hacky at this point.
I'm not going to defend bad comedy. I'm not saying you're wrong about that.
Like,
none of us are going to defend bad comedy.
No, but, and, like, the comedian taking on the role of the rapist in the joke, basically being like, hey, someone got raped, I did it, like, that's the joke. That, you can't tell me that that doesn't, first of all, contribute to women who have been victimized, who are sitting in that audience, and then are like, maybe there's a woman there who's wondering whether or not she should report her rape, and she's sitting there, everyone's laughing at the idea of how funny rape is, not in a way that is releasing any tension, but a way that is causing tension, tangibly. And,
two things about the rape joke. First of all, I understand what you're saying about someone saying, hey, I'm the rapist. And you could say, okay, that's a terrible joke, and I'd probably agree that joke sucks. But the point of that joke would be the misdirection of saying no reasonable person thinks that guy is telling the truth. Nobody thinks that he's actually going, hey, I'm the rapist, and meaning, and I want to say too, you're talking about, well, that by trivializing it, it's encouraging it. Your Twitter picture is Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum's first role was a brutal rapist in Death Wish. Now, I'm not saying anything against Jeff Goldblum, but
are you here to accuse Jeff Goldblum?
Yes. But he picked up a blackjack and he said, you rich C, and he called her the C word, and they beat her to death in Death Wish. Now, we all understand, oh, that's an actor doing a role, but why as an artist do we give an actor a pass for convincingly playing a brutal rapist, but go after a comedian for making fun of something and mocking something? And like, why do we allow an artist to do something convincingly that brings up, what's going to affect a rape victim more? Seeing that rape acted out properly, or hearing a dumb comedian make fun of it? I mean, let's be really honest.
Well,